I use variations kind of like a bodybuilder, like you said,
Yeah.
when it addresses an injury or some kind of functional problem, or in the off season to give the body and mind a break from numbers and PRs. So, I have this kid, Justin Calkin. He's an absolute stud. I coach him, and he's having a bunch of elbow tendonitis. Okay, so now we're going to high bar squat a little bit more than we low bar squat to take some relief off that arm, maybe a safety squat bar. And it's not because I think the safety squat bar is a miraculous tool that will fix him and make him squat 900 pounds.
Right.
But I think it's a good way to get some overload maybe in his back that he wouldn't get from a regular squat, to take some pressure off his elbow, and to have him not thinking about his last PR competition wise, that he can now throw on a weird bar. It feels heavy and we get some stimulus on.
Gotcha. Are there different, of the three main lifts, are there ones that you find are more amenable to accessory lifts?
Yeah, maybe. I think you can get your bench moving, doing a bunch of cool things. Deadlift as well, and all of them really. I think I use a lot of tempo stuff. I use a lot of pause stuff. I'll use accommodating resistance. I use plenty of bands and chains in the off season. Again, not because I think bands and chains are automatically going to make this kid squat 100 more pounds or go dunk a basketball. Although I think they can help a strength curve and maybe are more applicable to someone trying to dunk a basketball than a squat. But for him to take his mind off of his last PRs and to add some different stimulus, we can do a 100-pound of chain PR, get him a little excited about training, or
Right.
a triple PR, and maybe take some relief off his back in the hole or something like that. But I think there's good variations for all three. I think people definitely overdo them. Generally speaking, people are doing, boards were literally invented on the bench press because of bench shirts.
Yeah.
And not to say that they don't have any application in raw training. They can overload the top a little bit, maybe get some tricep work in, but the amount of use I see is probably a little bit of overkill. And especially majority of stuff I think is a little bit of overkill when it comes to how advanced the lifters are using all these variations.
Right.
I think if you haven't been strictly powerlifting for 2, maybe even 3 years, you probably don't have to do all this, pause, deadlift, reverse band, blah, 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 blah. But once you start to hit some plateaus, or you've been lifting for a really long time, the mental and physical break will probably help you out a little bit more.
Yeah, I'm always happy to see people taking it seriously, like taking lifting seriously. But I do have a pretty distinct memory of a guy who would always come in with wraps and sleeves, everything, the whole works, and a belt to bench about 185.
Yeah.
And we always just like, why? But I don't know, maybe it got him excited to do it.
Yeah, I'm pretty split on that too. The inside, like, dickhead competitive Mike is like, bro, you're a loser, But then the advanced coaching experienced Mike is like, look, bro, if that allows him to get in the gym and bench 3 times a week, feel good about himself, and get excited about training, mummy up, wrap yourself in the head. What do I care?
Right. What do you use, or do you use anything as far as accessories like that? Wraps, sleeves, even like straps in training, anything like that?
Yeah, I've used it all. Right now, I'm trying to be as minimal as I can. One, because I'm riding a bike to the gym, and so I don't want to lug around stuff. 2, because I'm kind of rebuilding my squat and deadlift because I don't want to mess up my back. Just being an idiot trying to pull 600 again. So I'm going beltless on everything just to hold myself back again. But generally speaking, all of it really. It all depends on the goals. If you're a strict power lifter, I like to kind of stick to those rules. Some of the guys hook grips. A lot of my head grip, which is neither here nor there for me, but we'll use straps with those guys. Maybe we'll do a top single or top triple hook grip, get some training in, and then we'll use straps on the down sets. Knee sleeves, just because they're legal in competition, so kind of why not? And then same with straps. If you're benching multiple times a week, heavy loads, might as well try to protect yourself rather than not. I think they can all be overdone. Off season, I think it's a great time to kind of go beltless. And again, not because you're going to work your abs extra special, but to kind of limit the load you're using, still get some stimulus in, and kind of open up your mindset a little bit. But there's tons of gimmicks floating around, and generally not a fan. And if it's strict bodybuilding, I kind of do the same thing. All right, does this, are we benching with a amount of frequency that we need these wrist wraps? Okay, let's use some wrist wraps. But otherwise, try to keep it kind of as specific as we can.
Cool. You mentioned that the boards are pretty much made for the geared benching, but there's as far as overloading the top, you get something similar with a slingshot, which I know you're a fan of. So
Yeah.
could you explain why that would be more applicable than, say, like a 3-board bench?
Yeah, to be honest, I don't use either a ton in my own training, and only here and there with my guys. But if I were going to, and we really wanted to overload the top, one thing, not to rant, but weak point training is a little bit overdone.
Okay.
Weak point training was a thing in geared lifting also because you actually had weak points where the shirt is literally helping you more on the bottom, right?
Right.
For those that don't know, you're literally putting a piece of denim across your chest that won't stretch, and then the external load is stretching that denim, so the denim is going to snap back into place. So overloading the top in that is literally the strength curve is different than a raw lifter. The amount of weight you're lifting at the top of a bench shirt is a lot more than the amount of weight you're pressing at the very bottom.
Right.
Same with the squat suit. It's stretching and you're literally getting sprung out of the hole. So then you have to use more force near the top of the lockout, right? Now as a raw lifter, those strength curves and weak points change a lot more. But why I say weak points aren't a thing with raw lifting is once you hit 101% of your one rep max, you go 101% of what you're able to lift, you're going to miss a weight. You're going to miss, right? So, all right, all this, I spend 6 months fixing my weak point of the lockout of my bench, and then all of a sudden now I'm going to miss off my chest at 101%. Like we're always
Right.
going to miss a weight where we're going to, and it's just going to move. And if you really want to move it, that's fine. If you want to be less embarrassed and miss at the top than you do off your chest, unless there's a glaring weakness, and which is the case. But for 95% of lifters out there, I don't think there is. The reason I would choose a slingshot, rant over. The reason I would choose a slingshot over a board is just that you can take the weight in a full range of motion. So you're getting a similar effect where you're kind of handling more load in a way at the top of the lift or the top quarter or half of a lift, but we're at least taking our muscles and the barbell through a full range of motion, which again, being as specific as you can, we want to go as full range of motion as we can, probably more so than not.